this month in comics.
I got you covered.
But what you got?
It's a fantastic book.
Damn it. What did you do?
I'll find you a book for it.
Get your comic on.
Polka dot, polka dot, polka dot, polka dot.
Nobody do nothing stupid. Yeah, wake up. It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Yeah, it's time for this month in comics on the questionnaire. That's right. I am the Unknown Factor, a.k.a. that Wade Wilson of hip-hop. And you know, if it's this month in comics, you know that indie rook himself, Dave, is in the house.
What's up, meta-humans and mutants? It's Dave, your favorite local comic guy. How you doing?
Man, you got no idea how much that statement's true. Like, it's funny, bro, because I think about it, man, like, how long you been working at Comic Q now?
Year and a half. Just over a year and a half.
See, so you weren't around when I initially was going to Comic Q, man. I mean, it was Rob. Rob was my favorite comic book guy. You know, Rob's much love to Rob, real quick. Over there running that shit, probably having way more of a headache about it than is justified, just based on the fact of the local economic situation, the fact that corporations like to right there to everyone. You know, that's just how they are. But yeah, it's funny, man, that it just like shifted, but it's still at the same store a little bit, right? Damn it, Dave, I meant to ask you before the show what old boy's name was. You know, I'm terrible. I'm terrible with names.
He works there every Monday.
And the dude who's always there with you, bro, who I should totally know his name. Huh? Blaine. I'll probably remember that now that I've actually asked you during the show. Yeah, but I'm sorry, Blaine. I'm terrible with names. You can check out the podcast and affirm that if you like. You can see how many people that I've actually had on the show who I screwed up their names. I screwed up Tom Brevoort. Dude, I screwed up Tom Brevoort's name almost every time he'd been on, but now I got it. So when he's on next, I'm going to be like, Brevoort. He's going to be like, you got my name right. I'm going to be like, yeah.
Did you have a stroke?
And we're back. Sorry about that. You know, sometimes I have strokes. Sometimes dogs got to urinate. You know, what are you going to do? Apparently, Phil's going to get a dog for next time he comes on so his dog can interrupt the interview. But that's neither here nor there. As I said, this is the questionnaire. What the hell were we getting into, Dave? Because I got confused.
We were getting into the books that people should have checked out in the month of July of 2023.
Huh. Well, man, look, I know I know for a fact that two of these have come out really close back to back, you know, as far as this month in comics. You know, one of them was solo with Dave. You know, I didn't even get my graphic review in, which is kind of annoying, but we'll get to that at a later point in the show. And I know Dave probably didn't do no movie review on that show, did you?
I did not do a movie review. Sorry.
Damn it, the hell, Dave.
But I didn't see any movies. I didn't see any movies in the month of June.
Man, they can be old. I don't care. There's comic book shit out there all day, every day. Like,
I mean, I could talk about the Barbie movie for like a half hour because that movie was the shit. I saw that last week, and that was fucking fire.
I mean, that's cool, and that's dope to hear that it's a good movie. But if we're going to get into non-comic book things, have you seen the Twisted Metal series?
I've got it on my queue. The wife is excited.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude. I was like, how is this so good?
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I expected it to be super campy and silly.
I mean, there's silliness in it, you know what I mean? But they really, I think, like, I play Twisted Metal. I'm a fan, you know, and I know we're getting off comic books here, but it's video games, and I'm pretty sure anybody really heavy into comic books, you know, is of a certain age, probably played Twisted Metal or at least heard of it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a Twisted Metal comic book?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I know that
I'm
back
90% sure.
Back in my construction days, I'd be stuck at a place at a hotel for a week, you know, while we were working on a site, and we had one room was playing GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64, and then if you lost there, you went into the other room because we had the connecting door, and at the connecting door we had a PlayStation on the other side, and the other room was Twisted Metal. So we just went back and forth, and that would be like 4 or 5 hours every night.
I mean, look.
So
if you're
yeah,
going,
everyone's played Twisted Metal.
If you're going into Twisted Metal and expecting it not to be at least kind of campy, I think you're expecting the wrong thing.
Right.
Because I mean, there's obviously going to be that, but I didn't think you could do a Twisted Metal show or movie or anything for that matter, and it'd be just that flat out entertaining.
Very awesome.
I mean, really, and I'm curious to see the Barbie film based on what you've seen. I'm like, really, that's.
I have every day since the movie came out, we've had someone come into the store and go, "Dude, have you seen Barbie yet?" And like half the guys at the store have seen it. Every one of us has been like, "No, man, that was good. Smart writing, smart, yeah, it's good."
I heard, that was the thing about that film, is ostensibly it was a bunch of people that were down to make a film that was original, ostensibly more than anything else, which I think was the failure of Secret Invasion. You know,
where did the $225 million go for that budget? Because they didn't use it in the story. They could have. I don't know. I was really I didn't mind the story, but when it ended, me and the wife kind of looked at each other and we were like, "Oh, that's how it's ending." Yeah, you had some pretty heavy hitters. The big positive is the British MI6 agent, the lady who smiled as she tortured Skrulls. She carried that show for me. She was absolutely fantastic.
I mean, her and Samuel L. Jackson, because I love Samuel L. Jackson as an actor. I've been a fan of his since Pulp Fiction. And there's some films I've seen of his that I'm like, okay, that wasn't that good of a film, but the parts with Sam were good. Because there's something about him as an actor that is able to elevate whatever he's in. I mean, there are other actors I could name that about. But he's very much
great performances.
Yeah,
all the way around. I thought everybody did a great job. I thought Emilia Clarke, as was her Gaia. I didn't realize that was freaking the Queen of Mother of Dragons until the series was over, and I was like, that's the name I know. Okay.
You know why they failed, in my opinion, more than anything with Secret Invasion?
Is that
they deviated far, far, far too away from what the comic book is. Yeah, and I mean that's just they
couldn't afford to do what was needed for that, but because that was taking every superhero was being replaced, but the replacement of Rhodey, it didn't have the effect it should have had. It should have been like the end of an episode where the reveal happened.
Well,
and
makes
everyone go.
But the in the first initial episode, I can't remember the guy's name. He's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is the film that I really know him from.
Right. Yeah.
When he gets killed and turned into that didn't have the effect of when it happened in the comic books with Elektra.
Mm-hmm.
It's not comparable. It's I guess this is our movie review or TV review for the show. I just went right into it, man. But watch how well this is going to bleed in, Dave. Just hold on a sec. But yeah, it didn't have the impact of like, oh, here's a major hero, and shit, they're a Skrull. Like I feel like there's part of me that feels like they should have done that at a later point in time. Like it was too early for a Secret Invasion story. You know what I mean? It should have been a film. It should have been a two-part film, not a fucking 6 or 8?
5 or 6.
But yeah, I think it was 6. It was 6 because it was an even number. 6-episode TV show. And I understand them wanting to do something with Nick Fury because of who the actor is. Why would you not want to give him a prominent story at some point? They wasted a great storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Right? and they wasted what could have been a great potential for his character. Like, why not do the story where he ends up taking over as the Watcher?
There's so much stuff. I mean, the Watcher's barely known even with the
What If?
The What If series coming out, and that was 2 years. That was 2 years ago. What If came out. Damn, right? We've had so much mediocrity, unfortunately. I mean, I'm never. I mean, like, mad at the shows. If we go back 10 years from now, every one of these shows would have been, holy crap, this is blowing my mind. But we've gotten so spoiled by so many good shows, so many good things. When something's only a 7, we get mad. People like, it was the worst show ever. Bullshit. I'll take you on ABC on a Friday night and I'll show you a shitty show. You want to see a shitty show? Don't tell me, it's the worst ever. Bullshit.
That's a deep
Have you
cut.
seen what's happening?
That's a deep cut on some network television right there, Dave. Goddamn.
Have you seen the comedy shows on country music television?
Dude, don't you know, and haven't you figured out from the comics I read, I don't really adhere to the mainstream in any way.
Truth.
Like, I just kind of like here's the road for everyone else. I'm way the fuck off here or over here or down here somewhere. Like, I'm never on this main road. I'll be like, oh, Game of Thrones is cool. All right. But I'm also
what are you reading, Dave? And I tell you something that I'm reading, you're like, shit, I got to read that.
Yeah, I mean, typically, dude, if you tell me, but I'd like to think you're getting to the point where, like, if I tell you something's dope, you're like, oh, he's probably right.
Absolutely.
I'd like to think based on how much you know my opinion from meeting me now, you're like, oh, well, his opinion's pretty on fucking point with good comics. I try not to lead people astray. So on that note, we were talking Secret Invasion and how much they skewed from that storyline, man. I know from, editing it, even though I haven't yet. We won't talk about that. Look, these episodes are going to come out like almost back to fucking back, whatever. It's this month in comics. I'm sorry. I'm slow. There's been a lot of quests over here, and, I'm trying to finish albums and whatever, right? But on the note of invasions... All right. And I mean, I just picked up this second one today, so I haven't gotten to this yet. But all I know is reading that makes me want the Maker more and more and more in the MCU.
Oh, he's a bad dude, man. He is a bad dude. Methodical, knows what the fuck he's doing. So did you read issue 2?
No,
today?
I have not yet.
Oh,
not okay. I see that I need to after we get off the show. I was trying to figure out what to go to next, man. You know me, I always got a stack of comics. Shit, I got Time Before Time from Declan. I've got the omnibus of Tim Seely's Hack Slash, the first one I just picked up, which I'm very interested to read the beginning of that because I never have. I've read a chunk of Hack Slash, but I've never read the very beginning. So I'm curious to read that as well as God, some other stuff we're going to get into here in a minute that I may or may not have read. I'm sorry, y'all. It's a quest, right? And I try to make time to actually enjoy myself. I was going to add in a second line there, but it felt very inappropriate.
Well, you do that. I'll just stay back here in hell.
No, not that inappropriate.
Okay. Well,
yeah. I mean... Not inappropriate like we're going to get canceled, but inappropriate like, holy fuck, dude, he really just said that shit. Oh my God. Sometimes I got to make time for myself. Moving on. All right.
Moving on.
The Ultimate Invasion, man, has been phenomenal. I'm happy to see Hickman back in a universe that he had a large hand in creating and making great as far as the Ultimate Universe. But it shows, like, I don't think that's another thing. You said they couldn't do Secret Invasion because, you need everyone.
It was thousands of scrolls taking over hundreds of heroes, and everybody's powers are, and oh my gosh.
You know how
that last fight scene, that the CG in that last fight scene. Oh, that hurt.
You know what would have paid off the whole Secret Invasion TV show for me is if just at the very end, with no explanation, Ryan Reynolds shows up as Deadpool, right to Gavik, just dead, right? And that's what happens. And then someone else comes as an asshole, like, and it's like, oh, I did that, and it's like some Norman Osborn level fuck off. Like you could have Ross say that he handled that. And that
Thunderbolt
would
Ross.
explain, yeah, and that
Oh.
would explain why he becomes president. Like right there, dude. And imagine if in the last episode you'd have brought in Ryan Reynolds saying that he was brought in by Nick Fury to just smoke this dude, and then all of a sudden Harrison Ford shows up and goes, I am responsible for that. Dude, it's a perfect lead into him being president.
Oh, and you got that asshole president. The last thing he said was, I'm declaring war on anybody that's not from Earth. Well, that's all of Asgard. I mean, so that's going to be a big issue. That's going to be a big issue. And that's going to be what the Thunderbolts are going to be probably used to be hunting down people. And then, of course, they're going to turn on Ross, and then he's going to turn into the Red Hulk. And shit's going to fall down.
So, but imagine if instead of it being that asshole president, they would have done what I had just said, brought in Deadpool, had him smoke. So you instantly have Deadpool as being like, oh, okay, he's crazy, but he's really a good guy and all out for the ultimate good. And, when Nick Fury calls him, just like, hey, man, this shit needs to happen, and I ain't got nobody else. Wade's like, fine, Nick, and goes and does it. And then just like in the comics, even though in the comics it was Norman, you have Ross take credit for that. It leads to the Thunderbolts film with the capacity of them going against Asgard so much better.
Yeah. Because that's what was the downfall for Norman, was when he attacked Asgard in at the end of the Dark Reign storyline, because Asgard was in Kansas?
Yeah.
Or Oklahoma or something, one of those square states in the center.
Yeah. Man, I think it was Kansas. It might have been Oklahoma. Oh, now you got me questioning, but I think it was Kansas. I don't know. It's been a while since I've read The Dark Reign.
Same. But you know what? It's not been a while for me to read.
But no, real quick. No.
Okay,
like I said, back to the Ultimate Invasion, though, man. I highly recommend it. I think it's Well, what do you think though, as far as for it having? We're gonna start a new rating system. If someone was to jump in to a main event story arc in the middle of Marvel, 1 to 10, how easy or hard is it? 1 being easy, 10 being holy shit, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, for Secret Invasion, the original Secret Invasion storyline?
No, for Ultimate Invasion.
Not a chance. Huh?
Ultimate Invasion.
The Ultimate Invasion? Man, that's not going to be easy, because a lot of people have no idea who the maker is. So if they've read maybe the last 6 years of comics, they might know, since that last Secret War story, when they redid that in 2016, I think. If
it's
you
up
know
there,
that stuff,
yeah.
Maybe, but it's not an easy read to jump in on, because you're going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? Because a lot of people don't even realize he's a Reed Richards, because I don't know if they actually even said that he's Reed Richards in the first issue.
I mean, if you know who he is, then they definitely say things that make you realize, oh, this is the maker without the mask that he always has on.
Right.
Even if you've never seen his face from a number of things. Even in the opening, the first comic in that opening scene. I
would say it's not easy. I would say it's a 7, because if you're not familiar with the Ultimate Universe, you're not going to understand who a lot of this is. You're not going to understand that, oh, that's, because there's scenes in the second issue, and they're just parading all these characters from the Ultimates, world, and you're like, oh, why is the Hulk look like this? Why is Giant Man look like that? They don't even know that that's Giant Man. Why is this person look like that? So there's a whole lot of things that they wouldn't understand, because it's not explained. This is junior level, reading material. This isn't, junior high school. It's not, I'm going to read this, this quick little book. That's not a quick little book. You've got to do some homework to know what's going on in this. Easy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would agree. I would probably put it at about a 7. I mean, because you do need at least knowledge to the Ultimate Universe too. And this is without reading episode 2, or I said episode issue 2. Just reading issue 1. I mean, if you don't know who the maker is, they don't at any point in that comic clarify that it is a Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe. I mean, the only thing you would really have to like, the only thing that would make it perhaps a little easier is the fact that they include Miles Morales. And if you've seen either of the Spider-Verse films that they've done, the animated ones, then you have that bit of, okay, well, this is a different universe, and that's why. But you still wouldn't know that that's Reed fucking Richards.
Right.
That's the smartest man in any room, you know, which is a problem. Yeah. So yeah, I'll agree with the hard 7, bro. Yeah. That's pretty rough. What you got, Dave? Yeah. I want to know, you got a couple comics I was wanting to bring up too that I ain't had the chance to read. That if you spoil them too much, this episode's going to end real fucking abruptly.
I won't spoil, but I will be talking about the baddest mother and coolest mother in Marvel Comics. The man known as Blade. So I know this isn't none of my covers this week are going to be the main cover for a comic.
Wait, do I have the main cover?
You have the main cover, yes.
Why didn't you give me a cool cover for this, Dave?
You didn't ask for a cool cover.
I always wanted to know
my wife prefers that cover. She asked for that cover, and I was like, no, I like this cover. So I went with this cover.
Let me pull that up a little.
So this is like he's looking out the window at like a hotel where he's hiding, and he's looking out, and you can see like the vampires are coming at him.
Were these the only 2 covers?
The only 2 that mattered. There was like 4 other covers. We get way too many covers sometimes.
Okay, look at that. Like, let's bring up Blaine real quick, man. That's like, man, I blame the 90s. That is the funniest shit I've ever heard in the store. I think I blame the 90s for this. Like, I just got to bring that up real quick before we go more into this Blade comic, right? He's like, I blame the 90s because, like, they're sitting, when I come in, I go in on the store on Monday just because that's how my schedule works out, ladies and gentlemen, and that's when I'm up around the store for, other reasons. And on that particular day, they're going and putting up all the comics from last week with the alternate covers, and Jesus fucking Christ, y'all.
2 long boxes. Well, last week we had just short of 100 books came in, as far 100 titles. So many of those books have multiple covers. Last week, Venom, issue 23, not even a weird, not an anniversary issue or anything. Issue 23 had 7 variant covers, not including the main cover. You had Hellfire Gala, which we'll get to here in just a few minutes. It also had like 8 covers. But yeah, there's some of these guys, the DC has been doing this Night Terror storyline for July and August. Each one of the Night Terror books had 3 covers. So, I mean, it's just, there's so many variant covers.
Why the hell did that Venom comic have that many covers? Was there a reason storyline-wise?
Okay, so I don't read Venom. It's just too convoluted. But what I found out, you want to talk about one that you got to do your homework. If you read nothing but Venom comics, you still don't understand what the F is going on. Is it Dylan? Is it Eddie Brock? Is it Dylan Brock? Is it a
Flash
King
Thompson.
in Black? Is it Flash Thompson? Is it anti-Venom? Is he a red Venom? Is he a black Venom? Does he have a face, smooth face? Does he have a jaw, with a crazy tongue flying out? Does he have 2 arms? Does he have 4 arms? Oh no, that's Bedlam. Who the fuck is Bedlam? I don't know. He's another freaking Venom. I mean, there's just so many Venoms. They just did a 4-issue series called The Extreme Venomverse. The Extreme Venomverse ended a week ago. this week we got a new book called The Death of the Venomverse. Fuck you. I can't keep up with all of these. I can't. But what it looks like is the big deal was that the Black Widow is getting a symbiote.
Bro, my brain.
Right. So
My
that was the
brain.
big deal. At the end of the last issue, the last page, after whatever was going on, the Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, walks into a location where Venom guts are everywhere, and she finds a symbiote, and she goes, "You're coming with me, little pal," and she's going to be a new Venom. So the Black Widow is going to get a Venom costume.
Okay.
So
That's
was
a
the
cool
big deal.
addition as far as giving a character a symbiote, in my opinion. Like, I think Widow fits the whole having a symbiont ambiance. But the rest of the shit.
What I always loved about her was that she was human. She was human and she was a badass. That's why I always loved her.
Yeah, but the Marvel Universe has gotten to the point, bro, you better have some. I'm sorry, like, the only reason Hawkeye works is because he has a long range weapon that's got all kinds of bullshit for arrows, right? Like, right. The Black Widow's got stingers. Let's be honest, she would die in a real Marvel fucking event. Like, that's just, I don't care. I'm sorry for anybody out there that loves the Black Widow. I mean, I like the character too. I think it's a dope character. It was brought to life really well by Scarlett Johansson in the films. Up until
Scarlett Johansson.
Huh?
Brought to death by Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Or, that makes me sad every time.
And brought to death by Scarlett Johansson very well, for that matter, in the films. But in a real Marvel fight where it's an event like the Secret Wars or Ultimate Invasion, or
one of those guys punches that person, she's done.
she's dead. She's dead. I'm sorry. Like, Hawkeye is not going to get in close enough to get punched. So that's like, I can see him in that situation, because he's like, I'm a fucking archer to the point where I'm almost a mutant with this shit. Like, call that motherfucker Crossjack half-ass, except he apparently got the one thing that Crossjack lost. He can actually shoot a bow and arrow. Crossjack can't. Crossjack can just throw everything else. That's Local Man, for anybody that don't know, by Tim Seely and Tony Fleece, and it is still coming out. They're getting ready to drop Local Man Gold here shortly. That better be on my fucking pull list, Dave. If you don't pull me that, I'm gonna fuck
about
you
the
up.
Crossover that a crossover event that you got to do your homework for is the gold.
That's fine, man. I know, and love Image. That's no thing, but I'm just telling you, Local Man has been phenomenal. If you just read the initial series, not necessarily. The gold might be a little bit much without you having an Image background, but the 6 issues, phenomenal. Tony and Tim killed that shit. Not to lace into that, but yeah, apparently Hawkeye got the one ability as far as that Crossjack didn't, and he can shoot a bow and arrow. That's why Crossjack can't shoot a bow and arrow. That's why, because Hawkeye got that one skill from him, and he's like, anything, right? So that's why Hawkeye can exist in the Marvel Universe, right? Black Widow, dude, I'm sorry. I always thought, this chick needs some kind of power up. I don't see why she ain't dead yet.
I guess she actually has a form of the super soldier serum, but it's closer to the one that Nick Fury has. It gives them accelerated healing, not Wolverine healing, but I can break my arm and a week from now it's healed. That kind of thing.
Dave, she should be dead now. Back to that man whom you don't want to fuck with. Yeah, Blade. Now, no spoilers, Dave. I haven't got a chance to read this.
No spoilers.
You should know. Didn't I pick that up today, or did I pick that up last week?
Last week.
All right. Man, my bad. Look, man, fucking Doug was real cool and sent me a stack of shit. And we'll get into one of the books Doug sent me here later on. But, so, what can I say? I ain't got to Blade yet.
Blade is the baddest. I mean, this is Wesley Snipes. This is Wesley Snipes' Blade. I mean, he comes in, he kicks the ass. He doesn't take any slack from anybody. He's like, we're going to go do this. We're going to do that. I'm going to kill that person. I'm going to kill that person. Don't cross me. And then shit gets turned sideways on everything. And he's like, motherfucker. And you could almost hear it. Speaking of Samuel L. Jackson, you can almost hear Samuel L. Jackson kind of You know, I can't believe that shit just happened.
I mean,
But I feel
Weston's
sorry.
nuts.
I feel sorry for the bad guys in this because I know Blade's gonna F them up so bad. Oh, it's so good. He drives a great car. He's got his tools, and yeah. So if you Blade is great. Love Blade. Let's see who's the writer on this. This is and again another tie back to Black Widow. So the writer is Brian Hill, but the artist is Elena Casagrande. Elena Casagrande did the Eisner Award winning Black Widow. She did the art for the Black Widow series that ended at the beginning of this year or at the end of last year. And so the art is crisp, it's beauty, it's fluid. Casagrande did like a thing in almost every issue of Black Widow where you would start in this corner and you'd have Black Widow and you'd have different poses of her just moving all the way around the page fighting somebody, and then would be and she's following that up with Blade, and it's just slice, and it's fantastic.
Dave, you keep fucking with me, you're gonna run the rest of this show, and the rest of the show is just gonna be me sitting here like this. And then when I'm done with this, and then when I'm done with that, I'm gonna go like this, right? All right, and then I'm done with that, I'm gonna go like that.
Passion, baby. You want to, nothing gets me going more than talking about these stories. Yeah, I don't know how many times I sell people at work, people are like, oh, I'm looking at something that's such and such and such. I'm like, oh, you're into such and such, and I just get them and I bring them in, and they're like, oh man, thank you so much for choosing this book for me. No,
I can't.
You chose the book, you just didn't know you wanted it.
I can't tell you who's cost me more money in comics, whether it's you or the creators I've brought on the show. At least some of the creators have been gracious enough to just gift me shit.
I give you a discount.
I mean, I'll give you that. Yeah, that's why I love Comic Book U, man. For anybody up in the Indy area, if you ain't checking out Comic Book University and going and messing with Dave about comic books, if you're into comic books, you ain't doing it right, man. I'm just telling you right now. Like, that's flat out. You're really not, because that's where you should be getting your books from. I assure you, because it's funny. Even if you're into CCGs, if you just like collecting pops, there's an individual in that store that will lead you to what you want. It might not cost as cheaply as you want it, but that's the effects. God, them figures were way too high. I want that Bishop and Carnage.
Oh, those toys, man. Well, the Bishop, the Carnage, and the Venom are both only $115. So those are really good prices for those statues.
Look, man,
but those 112 action figures, man, those 112 action figures they're beautiful, but unlike my G.I. Joe action figures, where I'll actually take them out and I'll play with them, there ain't no way I'd ever take them out of a box. So if I can't take it out of a box and play with it, what's the point of having it?
Look, all I know, and y'all can check out my past quest with Sean Damian Hill, as well as when Sean Damian Hill came on the show and sketched up a really dope alien in Bugs Bunny form. It was phenomenal, y'all. I'll show it to you right now, just because it was that great right there. Like, you see that? That's an alien that came from Bugs Bunny. It's freaking hilarious. It has buck teeth. What the shit, Sean? But no, the conversation I had with Sean, because he just got done with that Bishop War College, like, it's me and him got like that's my second favorite X-Men by far. My first being Deadpool, who some people will be like, that's not an X-Man. I'd be like, fuck you. That dude has been a member of every team in Marvel. All right, I don't think there's a team in Marvel he wasn't a part of at some point.
In the X-Men books, if you look on the back, the back pages, it says here's what X books are coming out. Deadpool is listed as an X book, so they can go jump off a cliff.
Yeah. So fuck you. He's an X-Man. Yeah. That's my whole opinion. I am the Wade Wilson of hip hop, so I don't give a shit about your opinion. If you want to get all like whiny diny about it, man, take it somewhere else. I love y'all. Make sure you go check out the Patreon for all the pre-show questionnaires and help support and fund the show so we can do more dopeness over here.
Buy Blade. Okay, so
and buy Blade.
Blade was great. The next thing I'm going to talk about, it's another one that starts with a B.
and this is another one of these crossovers that I'm going to put this one at like an 8 or 9, because if you don't know the Mark Millar universe, you're going to be a little lost. Now, who's Mark Millar universe include? Mark Millar universe includes Kick-Ass. It includes Nemesis. It includes The Ambassadors, a brand new book we talked about just a month or two ago. It's going to include the Chrononauts, a whole plethora of
Now, let
comic
me
books,
ask you.
basically the last 20 years. Yeah.
I gotta ask you, Dave. I mean, I've never read. Oh, actually, I've read the Kick-Ass books. I've read Wanted. I haven't read Ambassadors, obviously, because like I told you, I'm waiting for the graphic to come out. Is this book gonna throw me off?
Look, okay, so it tells you everything you need to know in the book.
Okay.
It does tell you that. So it's called The Big Game. Now we got different covers because I went with the Jay Lee Kick-Ass cover, and you went with the black and white Pepe Rosa cover, which has got the Wanted and Nemesis and all.
I did
baddies.
pick this one out, didn't I? Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
you did.
pick. All right. I can't remember half the
So-
time, Dave. I go through a lot of shit in this show. Yeah, whatever. I just love old boy sitting there in that chair like that, though. That was dope to me.
Yeah, he is super dope. But there are characters that if it does not tell you who these characters are. So if you don't recognize who the character is as you're reading this book, you may not know who they are. So when this bad motherfucker shows up and you're like, who's the Batman dressed in white? That is Nemesis. He just had a fantastic series called Nemesis Reloaded, where they basically re-showed who this guy is all about. He's Batman, but he's a villain. He's fantastically scary.
Wait.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like? Oh no! It's not that. They had it to where you could read the first issue of that for free.
They just redid. Was it Wanted? They just did a
25th anniversary.
20th anniversary of
Or was
Wanted.
it 20th? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
But
no,
yeah,
the Nemesis, they had it free on their website.
Okay.
It might have been on Image to where you could read the first issue of that, because that graphic hasn't dropped yet, right?
No, not yet.
I want that,
No.
Dave, just so you know.
I'll have to look to see when that shows up.
God, this shit's getting really expensive. Please go fucking support the Patreon. I guarantee there are some funny ass questions or funny ass answers to some funny ass questions on there by a bunch of creators. Then just some interesting shit. If you're at a con and you want to torture some certain creator for some reason, you might get to know his, the thing he hates the smell of or color or something. And you could just literally walk up to him if you want to be an asshole. I don't recommend this, but if that's your reason for funding the show, please go ahead.
We all got to have our things.
Or if you just want to, give a creator a treat, you can find out what their favorite food was or what particular action figure they wanted when they were a kid that they don't have anymore. If you just wanted to be able to walk up to a creator you were a huge fan of, and be like, hey, man, I got you this. That's all available on the pre-show questionnaire as well as more. All I'm saying, So, that, and it'd be awesome if y'all just, and hopefully, you're enjoying this fucking madness over here and you want to see more of it, and I definitely want to do more of it. So, yeah, because Dave's making my life expensive. So are all these damn creators, right? But, Dave, so what do you give that as far as?
Oh, I give this an 8. I give it an 8.
Okay.
But if you are steeped in a Mark Millar world and you've read Kick-Ass, you've read Jupiter's Legacy, Wanted, turns out all of this stuff is connected. All the stuff that he's been doing for since Mark started working over at Image, and actually even before with some other companies that he's brought to Image now. All these books are related. They all take place in the same world, and at one point, apparently, this world all had superheroes until 1986 when the villains got together and said, why are we fighting one-on-one? Let's take them all out at once. And now the villains won. All the heroes went away and the villains were able to take care of business, all they wanted. It's been 30 years, it's 40 years. Time for them to do it again because all these heroes are showing up. And that's what this book is about. The
Damn it, Dave.
heroes are.
Now I got 3 comics I want to read right after we're done with this show, and I don't know if I got time for all that shit. Like, I'm sure you're going to add more.
So all those characters that we didn't know was going to be related are all related, and it's all going to come back to So we've got, I mean, hell, even Dave Levinsky. What was his name? Lebowski, the kid who Lazowski, the kid who was Kick-Ass. Time's passed since he was Kick-Ass. He's an adult now. He's got a girlfriend. He's moved in with somebody. And he's writing in. He's trying to become an ambassador. Going back to that ambassador book from a few months ago. He's like, look, I've already been a superhero, but I want to do more. And it's got, all these characters are all being listed, and they've all got to come back together. But there's characters in here that I don't recognize. I'm like, who the F is this chick? Where the F are they? Who is this person? I've got to do some research because I forgot who some of these people are.
Okay. So let me ask you on that note. If someone has only watched, say, Wanted and the Kick-Ass films, what is the difficulty for them to read this comic?
It'll probably still be pretty high. It'll still be pretty high because they're not going to know who the villains are and everything. But those Mark Millar is a great storyteller. You're going to figure it out by the end. Now, you may not get it all in the first issue, but by issue 5, when this story is finished, you're going to know who everybody is. You're going to understand their motivations. And the Pepe Larose artwork is for no other reason. Get it for that. Look at a master of work on this, man, because it is beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Well, can I just we gotta get to something else, man, because I just gotta say, like, I just had Doug and Doug on the show, Wagner and Dabs, right?
Yeah.
You'll be able to check that episode very shortly after this drops, if I can get my ass on editing. Hopefully their Doug or Dabs pre-show questionnaire will be up and available as well. You can check out Wagner's over on the Patreon right now, but this Klik Klik BOOM, man. I just picked this up today, so I ain't had the time to read it. But one, I love this cover. This cover so much represents what this character really is, as far as like, look, I'm fucking somebody up. Look, I'm fucking somebody up. Hey, how are you doing? I'm Goofy. Right? Right? Like, hey, and then, like I said, I had an in-depth conversation with Dabs and Wagner in regard to that. Wagner actually slowed down my reading because he sent me this huge stack of graphics. I love you, Doug. For anybody who is just looking for someone where you can quickly jump into a comic book, I'd recommend everything I've read by Doug Wagner. Yeah. Everything I've read by Doug Wagner, you can just pick up the graphic novel and read it, and that's it. And I can't tell you a Doug Wagner story that I've read at this point that I haven't been like, God damn, Doug. God damn. And this in no way, shape, or form has lost that for me. Just within the first issue, how it's set up. And like I said, I haven't read that second issue yet. It's one of 4 comics I'd like to get to before the night's through that I probably fucking won't. Hopefully I'll get through at least 2 of them. But it's so intriguing the way they've set it up as far as it's very much a story where, I mean, you go into I say this because you were talking about Mark Millar and how, you don't know this character, you know it by the end of the story. Look, you pick up Klik Klik BOOM first, those characters have been featured nowhere else. But if you're not intrigued by the end of issue 1, as far as what's this chick's story? Like, what's her deal? Then I don't think you like stories. I really don't. Because what's this chick's story? I want to know. Because something happened to her, man. I don't think she'd like Superman anyways. Or either. I mean, I don't think she'd like Superman either because, something apparently happened to her, and apparently people that don't like Superman, it's because they got hurt by someone at some point. You know, you can ask Fred Kendi that shit when I had him and Nick on. That's why his interview ended, because Fred was like, "You don't like Superman? People who don't like Superman, man, I think it's because they got hurt by somebody in the past." And I was like, "Look, Fred, this interview's over. God damn it!" And y'all think I'm kidding? Literally, go and watch the last 10 minutes of the episode. He says that shit. I end the episode. But much love to Fred as well as Nick. Checking out, getting ready to, I think issue 6 of Dead Roman's already dropped, didn't it?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So check that out. It's a phenomenal series, as well as the quest we went on in regards to all of that. A couple of great dudes, as well as he does Mud 79 if you're really into Star Wars. But yeah, I also highly recommend Klik Klik Boom. It's a very intriguing story. I'm very interested to see where Doug is gonna take it. It's fucking madness, man. But now we've done 2 Image books. We've done some Marvel.
Correction.
Right.
Dead Romans 6 comes out August 23rd. Dead Romans 5 came out 2 weeks ago.
Okay, all right. Well, now you're telling people when we recorded the show as opposed to when it actually drops, Dave. Don't do that.
I apologize.
People are going to be like, this motherfucker is really behind. And I'm like, yeah? What about it? Just go watch the old interviews. There's a bunch of them, and they're all pretty much relevant to the topics that there are relevant to the topics because, you know, until cops stop using the Predator's or the Punisher's skull as a fucking logo, that's topical. And I hate.
There's a new Punisher. Did you see that? Did you see the new Punisher?
I didn't see it personally, but I know it's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and there's part of me that if you're not going to keep that character as he was, if you're going to, why give him a new mythos? Because they gave him the same skull, right?
Nope.
Okay.
It's different.
How different? Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. We have to have Dave go grab a comic somewhere because apparently he's got that. Either he's got it somewhere or he's probably got it somewhere. Dave's got way more free time than I do as far as to read comics. I wish I had the free time to read comics you do, Dave. I'm jealous. You don't even know.
Yeah, all the free time. It's just how I go to sleep at night. I have to read like 3 to 4 books when I go to sleep at night.
I prefer a little physical action to go to sleep tonight properly, but that's neither here nor there.
With a personal time, right?
Hey, man, I hope it ain't personal time. You know what I mean? I prefer it not to be. That's not physical enough for me, you know. But that's a combination of 1, the autism, 2, the hip hop side of me, and we'll just leave that shit as that. Man, are you looking at this shit up in a fucking previews?
Maybe. But I got it right here. I just gotta find it.
Well, I got to say, well, he looks this up, man. No, see, look. We did. Hold on. We're gonna cut to something that's not Marvel or Image.
Something else. I'm gonna find it. And you're gonna be like, so I'm gonna do. I'm gonna jump in and be like, no, you can't talk about that now because I've got something else.
But this
or
has
maybe
been phenomenal.
Find it. I don't know.
Hey, this has been phenomenal. Every bit of it, as far as the last.
Oh
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm so happy with how this series has gone. It's very interesting to see it. And I only say that it's funny because my mom used to say, man, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are why you're violent. And she's talking about me watching the fucking Saturday morning cartoon, right?
No way.
Yeah, that's why I'm violent, Dave. No, motherfucker, I'm violent because if for anybody out there that thinks that's why I'm violent, hit up the questionnaire page and we can have a whole conversation. And I'll be like, no, I'm violent because people were douchebags. And I'm 6'2", and...
Well, fuck, I don't know where it is.
You know,
anyway.
And fuck, Dave don't know where the new Punisher logo is. Look, I'll tell you where it is. It's right here, right? It's right here. It's right over here, Dave. Right? Because I just made it appear
There it is.
out of nowhere. Right? I haven't seen it. I don't know what the hell it looks like, even having this conversation with you all. But I'm telling you, it's right here. Is the new Punisher logo. So how much different, comparatively, how much different is it from the skull that was originally used?
It's closer to the original skull than the demon skull head from the last one.
I would assume.
Yeah, it looks more of a looks more tactical than painted.
Didn't it have a shield twist to it, if memory serves me proper?
Yeah, so it's an ex-Shield agent that is going around doing it.
Because I remember actually seeing it at some point. Because I seen that they were getting ready to rehash the Punisher as far as, give that moniker to a different character. What's your thoughts on that, Dave?
Okay, so I don't know if you can see that very well.
Oh yeah, that turns out fine on the video, Dave. Yeah, but again,
So,
I mean that was just
I can dig
that was
it.
just for my benefit. Y'all can see it right here in way greater clarity. What do you think of that, man? As far as them again putting that on someone?
Well, all the guys who use the old Punisher logo are going to be in jail here soon anyway because of January 6th. But because they're all assholes. But I think this one's a little closer. It's not too different, but it's closer to like Punisher 2099's costume. So I'm okay with this. I was not okay with Jason Aaron's take on Punisher, where he turned Frank into as a killer when he was in grade school. And I dropped that book after that issue. I was like, nope. Punisher didn't turn this until he got to Vietnam. He didn't love to kill. It didn't work for me. I didn't like it. So I'll give this one a try, maybe.
A try, maybe. I like that maybe in there, Dave. I'll think about it. I don't know.
I'll think about it. There's a lot of really good books out there, and a lot. I don't need to keep reading some of the same stories over and over again. I'm wanting to branch out a little more into the graphic novels that just. I don't need to keep reading fives. Out of five, on a scale of 1 to 10, I can stop reading fives because those cost too much money to be. I don't remember what happened last month.
Damn it, Dave! You said graphic novel.
Uh-oh.
You just said graphic novel, right?
I did say graphic novel.
So I think it's time for Factor's graphic review because we already got to the Dave's TV/movie review. We did that right off the bat just because I bled into it talking about Secret Wars, which real quick, let's cut back to that for just a moment. What did you think of the intro?
I skipped it. I watched it the first episode and went, it's a little disturbing. I know it was done with AI, but I know there was some guy that I'm empty as hell. I know somebody. Damn, bro.
Cheers. I filled my cup up in the middle of this episode. You hear me? And sincerely, you should fill your cup up, bro. That was the worst intro I have ever seen in my life to any show.
So I'd like to take you to ABC this Friday night on
Okay. Now, with that being said, I don't watch network television, y'all. I don't
either. I don't either.
So I'm sure there's something worse. But look, I've seen the intro to The Big Bang Theory, which, sorry for y'all out there, I'm not a fan of. But as far as the intro, just the intro is better than that shit intro they gave Secret Invasion. And I guess maybe it's based on the fact that I've discussed AI with a lot of professionals. Like people that's what they do for a living is art. And then I look at that, and I mean, I'd seen enough. Just like I said, I literally watched Mike draw this. I've watched several people draw several different things as far as live on the show. You can check out the past 2 sketching pan cons that we've had where one was drawing amalgamation of aliens, and then there was another where they were drawing modern heroes in D&D classes. You can tell when it's AI to a certain. Now there's some that is tricky, but that shit wasn't tricky to tell it was AI at all. You could tell. There was an element to that was fucking clearly AI, man. And I feel like they failed because what the comic book story was, dude. They just, I don't know. They hit I give that show like a 5 overall as a show. And that's only because of old girl who played the Russian agent and Samuel L. Jackson. That it even gets a 5. All right. If it wasn't for that, it'd probably be lower. I know its Rotten Tomatoes score is like the lowest Marvel has ever fucking attained. And that's factual. If they'd have done a better intro, like something what they did for the Hawkeye show, which was fucking clearly taken off Matt Fraction's work, right? Which we were discussing earlier. I'd probably given that show a 6 or a 7, but that intro just puts a nail in the coffin of that show where I'm like, yeah, I'll never watch this shit ever again.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you watched any of the other Marvel TV shows again?
I mean, I've fallen asleep to Hawkeye. I've fallen asleep to the WandaVision.
I was going to say, Hawkeye is the only one I've gone back and rewatched.
Hawkeye is the best. WandaVision is excellent. She-Hulk, I would go back. I've fallen asleep to She-Hulk at points. Yeah. So
I thought She-Hulk was hysterical, and
the
same people who didn't like She-Hulk are the same people who don't like Barbie. Anyway,
fuck those people.
And they probably have a Punisher sticker on their car.
Yes. And probably don't know who Frank Castle is. But no, like the She-Hulk, the certain episodes of What If I've gone back and watched. I've totally watched the 2 specials they did at more than once, as far as Werewolf by Night and the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
And the Guardians, I've watched that one twice. Yeah,
they're fucking phenomenal. They're phenomenal. All right, I can't even I have no other words besides they are phenomenal. And then if you realize how much the Christmas special has little, just the fucking word I'm looking for. Oh, that's gonna annoy me. Shit, man, did that word really just go out the side of my head? And not teasers, but like little tie-ins to the Guardian of the Galaxy 3 movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the word I'm looking for, Dave?
Nods.
Yeah.
Callbacks.
Callbacks. There you go. As far as the Zog nuts, I'm all out.
Yes.
And then he takes another bite. Like, are you serious, man? That was. Oh shit! Yeah, there's such great little callbacks in that, man. The Secret Invasion it was lacking, right? But I digress from the point I was getting to. Holy fuck, go figure. Yeah, that's the way an autistic brain runs, y'all. It will tell you a story and then tell you a side story and then another side story and then another side story. But then it'll all link back straight to the story, because I'll tell you something that was on point as far as the story that took every note and just added more notes and then tied them all together and was a hell of a ride. Was the ride Burning Desire
was the ride
by Doug Wagner. This marks the 3rd comic in my life that made me in any capacity start to tear up. There's only been 3, Dave. I've read a lot of fucking comics in my life, but there are 3 comics, and I could name all 3 of them. I'll do it. The Ultimate Spider-Man, where they smoked Parker, and he's like, "I couldn't save Ben, but I saved you." That shit made me tear up a little. It got me like it did. And then the other 2 come from 2 of my favorite current writers. One of them being shit. Sorry about the random background noise. One of them being Erica Schultz. Check out her past quests as well as when she's been on PanCons. Erica's a great writer. She also is getting ready to do graphics for Hollow's Eve as well as X-23 Deadly Regenesis will be dropping soon. You better have that X-23 on my pool, bro. I need it. Everything I've read by her has been phenomenal, but The Deadliest Bouquet pulled at me a little.
Yeah.
It did. Did you read that?
No.
I mean, there ain't no superheroes, man. It's pretty straightforward story. I really feel like someone needs to option it for a film. It would make a phenomenal movie just based on how it's done. And it wouldn't, and it's not the kind of film that's going to cost you out the ass because it's a person, it's a people story. You know what I mean? I mean, there are elements of it of war and this and that, but when it boils down to it, it's about three sisters, you know, and it was really well written, really well put together. And yet, pulled on my heartstrings a little. So, knock that shit off, Erica. And then I get this book from Wagner. Well, I mean, I got several books from Wagner. I got a couple more I got to get into. Much love, Doug, for real. Make sure you all check out his quest coming up with him and Dabs, writing Klik Klik BOOM, as well as, like I said, everything else he's done with us over here at the QUESTionaire. He's always a pleasure to have on. I didn't expect from him for it to get to my heartstrings, you know? Doug usually makes me laugh more than anything when I'm reading.
Right.
Plastic,
We're usually
vinyl,
psychopaths doing really crazy shit.
Yeah, like it's typically like it's pretty damn funny, to be real honest. You know, and I love that. But man, this one was like, I mean, again, it's phenomenal. It is a phenomenal piece of work. The way it's laid out, the way he ties so much together as far as in the same thing of people being outcasts and ostensibly having to defend for themselves because society as a whole didn't give a shit about them. You know, so they had to come out and deal with the problem on their own regard. It was just so well put together. And I don't like when you have people that are asinine enough to fuck with kids, man. That gets me in my feels, and just the way it was done and the way it was. I hope I'm not giving no spoilers. I'm really not. If you read the comic, you'll be like terrified until a certain moment happens. In all honesty, you'll be like, "Oh my god, what's gonna happen?" Like you might be freaked out more at reading the comic just based on just listening to my review. In all honesty, just based on how the comic is, how it progresses. But then not only that, the side stories, the short, like I'd say 4 to 6 page stories that they give for all of the side characters to kind of explain a bit of their backstory, dude, it's so well put together. It kind of amazes me, to be wrong. And again, it's something I really didn't expect from Doug. You know what I mean? And I love personally when I get something like there's a writer that I'm a fan of, and suddenly I get something from them, and I'm like, I didn't expect that. Holy hell, it was good. But like another example of that would be Money Shot with Tim Seely. Yeah, I'd like left field, bro. What was that? You know what I mean? Like I didn't I know you for Hack Slash and shit. What the fuck is this? I mean, again, it's a great book. I'm not in any way saying anything negative about it because I don't think I have anything negative to say about Money Shot as a whole. But it's just not something I would expect from that writer based on what I know of him. It'd be like Stephen King writing a fucking romance novel, you know?
Right. Not what you expect.
Yeah, and I love that when I get that from an author that I'm a fan of. And then they deliver something else that's just completely different from what they normally do. But oh my God, is it still good? And that's definitely what Doug did with The Ride. If you've read Plastic, Vinyl, and Plush, and you're a fan of any of them, I would highly recommend The Ride, but know that it's a different ride, but know that it's a great one.
And The Ride might be hard to find.
I am not
'cause-
gonna lie. You're right, because you know for a fact I spoke to you about two of the books that Doug sent me, one being The Ride, one being The Eye of Odin, and you couldn't get them.
That is correct.
Thankfully, Doug's really, really, really cool.
Some of the bigger
and I happened to,
online retailers will probably have those. Unfortunately, not. Yeah, it's The Ride is really hard to come by.
you may be able to. I'll say if you want this, you may be able to go and find Doug Wagner on social
Doug's
media
website.
somewhere, or go to Doug's website, because I know he obviously has copies laying around, because I very, very recently received this, and you can see Doug Dunn signed it for me. So you may be able to directly hit up Doug to find it, because it's one I would highly recommend picking up. It's, if you are looking for a story with so many different levels, man, and it's self-contained. It's about someone who has a very troubled past, is trying to make up for some crazy shit they did, but at the same time, the crazy shit they did was sort of justified. It's just a good story, Dave. I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
I want to get to it. I want to try it. I want to read it. I just haven't got access to it right now.
You better fucking remind me to bring it to you, Dave, and don't fucking crease it.
You know me. I love creasing my books. I flip them. I put dog ears in them and everything.
For some reason, I really, really, really doubt the shit out of that.
No, I usually read my comics. I'll have like a piece of paper like that, so like my fingerprints don't ruin especially Marvel. Marvels should be ashamed of themselves for the paper that they use for their covers. I leave so many fingerprints, especially if it's like got a black cover on the back. My thumbprints are always being embedded in these comics.
Wash your hands, you filthy fucking human.
Or gloves.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
The wife said you should wear gloves.
Yeah, like I said, I usually am reading in bed. It's where I read a lot of my comics. I'm not gonna.
I don't want to look. I don't want to know why you're wearing gloves in bed. Let's get to the next book. Sorry, I got myself a little too much with that.
If that's the case, I'll get to this book, because that's exactly what this book's about.
Oh, I'm a little jealous that you got that, man. That's just images. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
These are just images. Yeah, it's a sketchbook. Came with a couple of really nice prints.
Oh,
so and a Cho print. Have you ever read any Strangers in Paradise?
Yes, it's been a while though.
So yeah, this is just an art book with just beautiful pictures of Kachu and the Parker girls.
Just don't show anything that I need to edit out, please.
There's going to be a lot of stuff you can't show on this.
Yeah, well, don't show it, bro. I don't want to have to go through this fucking interview. Fucking edit this part out. Edit this part out. I ain't got time for all that shit, Dave.
Lots of pretty women. Lots of pretty there's he's got he talks about how he did how he initially draws on just standard copy paper, and then he'll put that on a light box and then put the Bristol board on top of it and then retraces it. Thank God he's a legit medium guy. He's not a digital art. So all of his stuff is available on terrymoore.com. Go to his website and you can buy some, and like $350 for some of these pictures. I mean, that's really great prices for a man who's just mastered the female form. And there's some regular stories. There's a couple little short stories in here as well. and some art. Again, lots of art and covers, and
Hey, Dave,
just
let me
beautiful.
borrow that, and I'll let you borrow the ride. But if the pages are sticking together when you get it back,
Nope. No, this one's really So I got the hardcover. I did the Kickstarter for it. Gloss varnish. It's got a ribbon bookmark in here. Just beautiful stuff all the way around. And I don't know if he's ever going to have it available on his website at terrymore.com. But there's plenty of other stuff on Terry Moore's. So anything he puts out, I'm right there for it.
I need to hit up Terry Moore, to be real honest, man. But can I bring up one individual that I'm working on bringing on a future quest, and another individual that's been on a quest with us, and we'll be coming on a PanCon shortly. I just got to arrange that properly, right? And I'm just going to bring them up both at once, because if these comics aren't related within Marvel, and if they don't have an Alien versus Predator within Marvel at some point, it's going to hurt my feelings.
We are getting Wolverine versus Predator.
I know, but you can't tell me that you don't want to see these two done in Marvel and see what they do story-wise, because Prey was excellent, and that was after they had bought 20th Century Fox. So I'm just very curious to see what the Disney Corporation, and I guess it's part of me that maybe I hope that, they'll do an Alien versus Predator film and do it justice.
Let's hope. But, with the writer strike and the actor strike and Bob Iger being an ass bag, guy makes $460 million a year, but he doesn't want to pay, people for, he wants to give $100 for someone's likeness for life. It's absolutely ridiculous what these guys do.
Let's disregard all that, because it hurts my head. And we stand behind the WGA and everybody as far as in the strikes. But
Absolutely.
But at the same time, how about we just raise fucking minimum wage in this country, right? Let's be real honest. If we're going to talk about it, it's a systemic problem that is across this whole fucking nation. It's not like there's a problem that Jeffrey Bezos and Elon fucking Musk are shooting themselves into space while one has people dying in his factory and the other is straight up ruining Twitter, right? If you can't figure out which one is which.
It's X now. It's not Twitter.
Remember, I don't give a right. Like I said, Dave, ruining Twitter. God damn it.
He already had to take his X down. You know that big X he put up over the weekend? Did you see that video?
No.
It was so bright. So they put this giant X on top of the Twitter headquarters. And this X was so bright and it was flashing. And it was constantly flashing. And the people who live across the street, their apartments were blinded because the light was so bright. They had to dismantle it. There was so many complaints. He didn't get any of the proper permits to do it, so they've already had to take it down. It lasted a weekend. This guy is an absolute joke.
I don't want to even discuss that anymore, except what I said initially stands. One's letting people die in his factories and shipping departments, and the other is a fucking lunatic who is ruining social media as far as on the Twitter side of things. I don't give a shit what he wants to call it. It's Twitter, right? But back to what I was saying, I feel like this particular company, Marvel, needs to take this gentleman right here, right? Ed Briston. And this gentleman right here, Declan Shalvey. And I feel like them two need to get together and write an Alien versus Predator comic based on what I've seen. And then maybe, unlike what they did with Secret Invasion, they'll take and be like, oh, we should follow this storyline.
Remember the last Predator versus Alien one they did that came out a few years ago? Oh, that was so bad.
Look, Nick and Fred all had a
all the mental the military mental health patients that got killed on the bus, and oh my gosh, that was so bad.
Look, me,
So
Nick,
bad.
and Fred had a conversation very recently, and you can check out this past quest. Those are the two casts that do the art and write respectively for Dead Romans. About Prometheus, and then the Alien. We got into the Alien versus Predator films because they, I think it was Nick asked which film in the Alien universe actually technically comes first, and my brain went, well, Nick, that would be the worst one. Because technically, in the sequence of events, it would be Alien versus Predator, which is correct. You know,
Right, because it took place
like
on Earth in
in,
the
like the
Arctic.
fucking 90s or 2000s or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And it's terrible. Right. And then we had a whole conversation about that, and just I would like to see, hopefully, if Disney ever takes that property to film. Hopefully, they realize it shouldn't be on Earth.
No. Have the aliens showing up on the Predator's homeworld.
I don't think you can do that for the first film.
No.
You know, it has to. I think, and I don't know. Look, if you got Deck and Ed together and let them write an Alien versus Predator story, I don't know what they'd turn out. I'd be very, very interested to see what they would turn out, and it would definitely be on my pull list, Dave. Just so you know, if that ever happens, like I definitely would love to see what those two authors combined would do, because what they're doing with Alien and Predator, respectively, they've both been phenomenal stories. You know what I mean? Because they're playing into what they actually are, like the true mythos of both of those beings. But at the same time, they're giving their own element to it. You know, and it's a very nice balance to see, and I think it's one that's very difficult to achieve when you're dealing with someone or something that has that kind of history. You know, that's why I think it was Tony was like, I don't want shit to do with big events. Like those big Marvel and DC events, fuck that shit. I am not interested.
I don't blame them. I mean, of the, I know several of the books that I have or we've talked about tonight have been big or events, but I would say outside of last year's Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, the Axe story that came out last year from Marvel, there hasn't been a real crossover event that stuck the landing or made me go, oh, that was actually good, and had like repercussions that lasted. Almost every time these things end, they put all the toys back into the sandbox exactly where they found them. So it's like, oh, and everything's going to be changed since no, they never change. Everything's back to the same. I mean, hey, Kamala Khan got killed in June in Spider-Man, and she's on the cover of one of the variant covers here for the X-Men Hellfire Gala. She's been brought back already.
So let's get into that, Dave, because that's something that I did not pick up. Should I have?
Okay. So, are you an X-Men fan? Are you reading all the X-Men books outside of Deadpool?
Wait. Are you what? Like, Dave? Firstly, I need a couple thousand fucking subscribers to the goddamn Patreon before I can read every X-Men book. Are you shitting me? Do you have any idea the depth of fucking shit that I need to read just to cash up properly, as far as House of X and this and that? And I don't even.
It's crazy, right? But the very simple thing is, Hellfire Gala happens every summer, and it's when the X-Men show off. It's when they, here's where we have a new X-Men team gets chosen. That's going to be our forward, our best team, that's out there helping, civilization, helping humanity. So they always get to pick. Well, the way they have it set up every year is they let, viewers, readers vote on this, and it's usually on Twitter.
X.
It's
And
you corrected yourself before I could. That's all I'm saying.
So they always give you a list of the possible new X-Men that can join the squad. And you know, they're going to keep the same 6, you know, that they always have. You know, Jean and Scott are going to be the leaders. We've had a couple guys that have stuck around. Sync has been around since the beginning. He's now able to pretty much be just like Rogue. He can channel everybody's powers. They've got a character named Talon, which is actually Lara, the X, you know, weapon, or X-23. There's actually 2 versions of her because she got stuck in a time thing. Everyone thought she was dead. Instead, she ended up spending 500 years in a pocket dimension. So she's super old. She's the oldest Wolverine now. So they were going to have Sync and this character, you know, going by Talon now. We're going to be the new team leads for the X-Men because Scott and Jean were stepping down. They had some other things they were going to work on. So they're like, okay, who's going to be on the team now? So they added Cannonball, Frenzy, Prodigy, Jubilee, Dazzler, and the Juggernaut, bitch. And they added all of them. There was originally was going to be just one of those that you got to choose, and they let you, and they put the whole squad on the team. And then shit hits the fan immediately, and by the end, there's less than 500 mutants left on Earth. Krakoa's gone. It just totally fucked everything up. The fall was going to happen, and it even says the fall of X is the subtitle of this. We knew it was going to happen. They couldn't stay these you know, high level gods that, you know, started a few years ago by Hickman. We knew it was going to happen. But we do have Kamala Khan is now an X-Men. You know, because she's a new, you know, she's actually got a mutant gene, so she was able to be resurrected by the X-Men. So that's one of the big positives coming out of it for me, because I've always loved Kamala. And so her new series comes out next month, in the month of August, called Ms. Marvel, the New Mutant.
Look, I want to steal a line from Blaine. Right?
You blame the 90s.
I blame the 90s. Like, they don't ever just kill anybody and leave them fucking dead anymore.
Well, the ability to resurrect everybody was because there was 5 mutants that worked together in unison that basically brought, you know, a mutant back to life. Well, they used cloning technology from Mr. Sinister. Well, Mr. Sinister is, you know, fucked everything up by implementing his own little DNA in all the characters, as we talked about at the beginning of the year with the Sins of Sinister storyline. So that caused a big issue. And then, well, the 5 are all dead now. So if you got the 5 that were supposed to resurrect everybody, you don't have anyone to resurrect anyone now.
If you think that's going to stop them from bringing back comic book characters, I got another fucking... Yeah, like, what the fuck are you smoking, Dave? And
but
can
it's
I
not
get
going to
some?
be as easy. It's not going to be as easy as it was for the last couple of years, where people were like, fuck it. You know, I'm not wearing a helmet when I ride my motorcycle. And there was several characters that acted like that because they didn't care. They didn't think life mattered anymore because we just come back. So there's going to be like 40 new books coming out for X-Men. And I think that's the biggest problem with the situation.
Wait. Did you just say 40?
Hyperbole.
Okay.
So here's the new lineup for the X-Men world. You have X-Men 25, which, you know, that's continuing. Astonishing Iceman, Children of the Vault. The Children of the Vault is where the X-23 got stuck, and there's like a hyper, you know, time thing that happens there. Immortal X-Men continuing. Alpha Flight is coming back. Dark X-Men, Uncanny Avengers, and
Wait,
X-Men Red.
real quick. Dark X-Men, which will have I believe it's the artist on that coming up soon. We're waiting for that to actually drop before I bring him on. That way we can discuss it a little bit. But yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so that one's going to be led by Madeline Pryor, so the Goblin Queen.
Curious to see that.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a bunch of new stories taking place. And
now, real quick, what's up with the Astonishing X-Men that I see that they were bringing out that had a very much Age of Apocalypse look to it?
Yeah, so let's see. There's Astonishing Iceman. Let's see. Yeah, it may. I don't have it here on this. And grab my previews again. But yeah, there's so many X titles, and it's hard for a fan to keep up. You're like, do you read Spider-Man? Do you read X-Men? Do you read Batman? There's so many books. It's difficult to keep up with all this.
If you were reading just those three and trying to keep up with the entirety of the universe, I don't know how the fuck you would do it, to be real honest.
Yeah. Don't forget, there's also a Jean Grey series coming out. Let's see, the Uncanny Avengers. Your boy Wade's going to be part of that group.
Stop Dark selling me shit during the show, Dave.
Realm of X, Alpha Flight, Children of the Vault, X-Men, and I don't know if you saw this, but Tony Stark and the White Queen are getting married. X-Force, the Immortal X-Men is where you're seeing Apocalypse looking all badass. So he's been dead for 2 years now. He's coming back and decided, I'm not going to work with Professor X and Magneto anymore. So he's going to be a dick. Uncanny Spider-Man, where it's
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler is going around in a Spider-Man costume. Yeah, I can't afford it either, and I work at the damn store. I didn't even talk about Wolverine and how Wolverine's crossing over with freaking Ghost Rider.
I would assume you get a better discount. Yeah, I would assume you get a better discount than I do.
Little.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I work at Interstate Batteries. I could give you a bit of a discount, but I can't give you the discount that I get. Right. Yeah. So if you ever need a car battery, Dave, let me know. But that's
let me drive all the way out to Terre Haute. Let me drive hard.
Dude, just PayPal me the fucking cash for it and I'll drive it to you. What the fuck? It's not like I don't see you every Monday. Well, as long as you know your battery was about to need replaced. If you just need a battery at a moment, I can't help your ass, man. I can't. Right? Dave, you got anything else on the books?
You know what? I'm going to call it there for the night.
Look, well,
call it there.
Because we have been running a while and we've went through all kinds of things as well as, like I said, we got back in graphic.
I've been up.
Yeah, we've talked about Secret Invasion, but I am the Wade Wilson of hip hop, and I would be remiss if I didn't say, if y'all like the X-Men, this is a title you can just jump into, right? And if y'all want to get your kids into something and they like cars, new cartoons just dropped, right? Make sure you check out Jason Sylvester as well as Joseph Kajik? Man, I think I'm pronouncing his last name properly. I may or may not be, to be real fucking honest, right? Which should be either out or coming out soon. I don't know, man. There's a lot of quests going on here. But this, ladies and gentlemen, has been This Month in Comics, right? Hey, Dave, do you know where my thumb is? That's not my thumb. That'd be really weird if that was my thumb, Dave. That would be very, very, very awkward.
It's not up your ass, is it?
Can I say, I only asked my man here that.
You threw that to me. You're like, hey, Dave, where's my thumb?
I was really hoping he'd be that much of a smart ass. I truly, truly was, because this, ladies and gentlemen, is a quest. Make sure you check out all the past episodes. Like I said, we've had some great creators on. We've got some great pan cons that we've dropped. We've got some great pan cons coming up, discussing all kinds of things, man. So many different levels. If you're into comics, and we've probably, if you really are into comics, and we haven't had a comic book creator that you have read something by, we will soon. I promise you that, ladies and gentlemen. Besides that, like, subscribe, give it that thumbs up. Have a good night, y'all. This month in comics.
I got you covered.
Well, what you got?
It's a fantastic book.
Damn it. What did you do?
I'll find you a book for it.
Get your comic on.
Polka dot, polka dot, polka dot, polka dot.
Yo, this is Mark McKenna here. Check me out at www.markmckennaart.com.
This is Alex Segura, author of Secret Identity.
My name is Anders Zarate.
This is Laverne Kinjerski.
This is John Ward, creator of Scratcher and a whole bunch of other crap.
It's Jason Copeland, artist and writer of Full Tilt.
You are listening to the Questionnaire.
Say that again.
You got to check out the Questionnaire.
It's been super fun and entertaining, honestly. It's like just like hanging out with friends and chilling. It's cool, man. I love it. It's nice.
You need to check out the Questionnaire. I mean, you do.
Whatever file format you want, or even a carrier pigeon.
New episodes every week.
Jeez, I better write that shit down.
I love y'all, and it's a hell of a quest.